Hey guys, hi, this is RJ Manoj और आप मुझे सुनते हैं रेडियो सिटी पर एंड वी आर बैक विद अनदर पॉडकास्ट एट XLRI। और पिछले कुछ पॉडकास्ट में हमने बहुत सारी प्रोडक्टिव बातें जानी हैं और इसके अलावा हमने XLRI की लेगेसी को भी करीब से जाना है। आज की कॉन्वर्सेशन में मेरा साथ देने के लिए मेरे साथ जुड़ गए हैं प्रोफेसर गिरिधर रामचंद्रन सर। सर वेरी वेलकम, आपको कैसे हैं आप?
थैंक यू, आई एम वेरी गुड।
सर के बारे में अगर मैं बताऊं तो सर एसोसिएट डीन है XLRI ऑनलाइन लर्निंग एंड फैकल्टी इन द मार्केटिंग एरिया एंड द वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग which I want to know that you're aware of the XLRI legacy, you know. XLRI is like dreams to many aspirants as we know. तो सर मेरा बहुत ही पहला क्वेश्चन ये है कि जैसा कि हम XLRI की लेगेसी के बारे में जानते हैं एंड बहुत सारे एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए ये एक ड्रीम है इस जगह पर आना, यहाँ से पढ़ाई करना, यहाँ से सीखना। पर मैं जानना चाहता हूँ कि जो प्रोफेशनल्स हैं हु आर ऑलरेडी डीप इनटू देयर करियर, उनके लिए क्या मायने रखता है?
So the answer is actually interesting and depends upon whose question it is, right? अगर एक कोई just out of the engineering college या 1 year 2 year working करने वाले हैं, तो then for them the dream is actually XLRI opening a door for some time, for door to very interesting careers, consulting, marketing, etc. But for somebody who's already spent about 5 years, 6 years, 7 years in the industry, for them this is like a ladder. It is taking them from point A to point B. Right? And in the 2 years that they are here and doing the program, they are able to learn a lot of things, integrate a lot of those things, and able to think how they will be if they are their boss. Right? So in one sense, it is a ladder for them. And in another sense, it is also kind of a mirror for them because it shows them where they are right now and what they should be doing. So whenever somebody is coming in the XLRI blended learning program, they really are not saying so much as, मैं आ गया XLRI को. Right? It is more like I have given time for myself to invest in my career. That permission I've given. I know so many distractions are there in my life. Within that, I have given time for myself, and that is what the dream is going to be manifesting for these people.
सर आपने ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग के बारे में आप थोड़ा सा बता रहे थे, थोड़ा सा हम इसके बारे में और जानना चाहेंगे। एट द वेरी सेम टाइम हम आपसे ये भी जानना चाहेंगे कि हाउ डज इट ब्रिंग द सेम XLRI लेगेसी टू द प्रोफेशनल्स?
Yeah. So for a long time, right? Online MBA has been such that it is being provided by institutions which have been promising convenience. But very recently is when we have started seeing institutions like XLRI who have started to say that we will bring the same rigor that we are offering in the full-time program to the online program as well. And this is what exactly a lot of the working professionals are looking for. Because a lot of people, they would have not been able to do the MBA because of various reasons. They would have gotten into a good engineering degree. After a good engineering degree, they would have got into a good company. But because of various reasons, they could not have taken that break. Right? But they don't want to make any compromise on quality. Right? When they don't want to make any compromise on quality, that's where we are coming in. Right? So XLRI Blended Learning essentially tries to give the same level of rigor that is offered in the full-time programs, those and going through this online program. And in fact, this has been the mandate of our board also, that whatever we do, we should not have any compromise on the rigor. And the other thing is the word blended, right? So blended essentially means that there's going to be both an online component as well as an in-person component. The online component is basically where students will be attending their classes from their homes or wherever they are in the weekends or in the evenings. But 4 times in this program, they'll come to the campus, spend 6 days, and do attend classes just like full-time students attend. Gives them a combination of convenience as well as the connection to the campus, which ensures that the legacy that we have is carried on.
Okay, so next I want to know, like XLRI Blended Learning offers 3 distinct programs, right? Business Management, HRM, and Finance. For a professional who may be a little bit of confused, like how can they choose their interest of program and they can pursue?
Actually, it's an important question and something that they should spend some time reflecting on also. See, business management program is a general program where somebody getting into the program has some level of experience in any of the different aspects of business, be it marketing, operations, finance, HR also. But they are looking to get into senior levels where knowledge of all of these elements will help them to take decisions. Right? They are moving up from being a person doing the job of one particular role to somebody who is going to be able to connect different things and of business and then provide that strategic input. Right? They'll probably be running profit and loss business units or P&L units, etc. For them, it is important for them to know how finance functions, how HR functions, how
Mm.
operations functions, and so on. Right? But there will be other people who have decided to be in a certain line. For example, people in HR,
Mm.
right? They have decided to be in HR. But even when you're going to be in HR, you start out and say something like talent acquisition, right? Or you're going to start in something like learning and development. But it is for you to get to the next level of somebody who can manage people or manage a HR function, you should be able to get sufficient knowledge of other aspects like compensation and benefits, and HR business partnering, talent acquisition. So you need to be able to get an understanding of the full portfolio of what HR does. Right? That is what helps you get the language that you can use to get to the next level. And for them, the HR program really makes sense. And there are people who say, I am very keen to be in finance. I did not get the opportunity to have a very rigorous finance background, but I'm very sure being in investment banking or corporate finance is what I want to do. And for them, the finance program is a very, very rigorous technical program which will take them to where they want to be. So the way you have to look at it is by not looking at where they are right now, but what is the gap they want to fill where they reach 5 years later? Where do they want to see themselves 5 years later? And what is the gap in that? That should be making them decide going between business management or financial management or human resource management.
So it is about the vision in the next 5 years where you want to go. So next, I want to ask you a very interesting question, sir. ये जो दुनिया है वो बहुत ही स्पीडली चेंज हो रही है. AI का इवॉल्व कहे आप, सस्टेनेबिलिटी, रिमोट वर्क का कल्चर आ चुका है. सो हर चीज़ इवॉल्व हो रही है और ऐसे में मैं जानना चाहता हूँ कि जो XLRI का ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग जो है वो किस तरह से वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए फ्यूचर रेडी कर रहा है इस समय.
Good. Actually, I will answer it in 3 parts. First part ये है कि we are interested in ensuring that we are able to impart to them not what to think, but how to think, right? We really want them to be able to understand that a lot of what you said, right? AI, sustainability, these are areas that are evolving. The future of work itself is evolving. Will somebody continue to be working for a company all 25, 30 years? Or will they be doing gig work every 5, 10 years? Will they pivot every 10 years? Is all still evolving, right? In that situation, what is important is to be able to understand how to gather the data and how to analyze the data and use that to get to a decision making. So frameworks will keep on evolving, right? But what is consistent is going to be how do I gather the right data? How do I understand and make sense out of this ambiguity and make decisions? And that's what we focus on in our program, right? The AI, sustainability, all of these are buzzwords, but in our program, these are going to be part of different courses, right? And they're not going to be taught separately. Sustainability is a core course for us. AI is part of different courses already, so that it gets covered that way, right? But I think the most important thing is that these are all we should not never forget is these are all people who are already working, right? So there's a huge difference between these students in the classroom and full-time students in the classroom. Right. Most often, these full-time students come with very less experience. But these people come with anything between 5 to 15, 20 years of experience. So somebody is a VP, somebody is a general manager, somebody is a AI expert. So the discussions are already very rich. Right? And so as a professor, as a faculty, our job is to channelize those discussions and ensure that they are able to know how to think on these topics rather than really giving them specifically each and everything in modules.
सर एक और सवाल है मेरा. मैंने एक रील भी देखा आपका, तो मुझे ये आइडिया है कि मैं ये सवाल आपको ज़रूर पूछूं. XLRI में आने वाले जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो अलग अलग जगहों से, फील्ड से आते हैं. उनमें से काफ़ी सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो अपने अपने परिवार को छोड़कर यहाँ पर आ रहे हैं लर्निंग के लिए. और ऐसे में आप या ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ये कैसे इंश्योर करता है कि आप एक फन वे में या फिर प्रोडक्टिव वे में उनको लर्निंग दे सके? तो इसके लिए आप स्पेशली क्या करते हैं?
नहीं, एक्चुअली ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट सवाल है. कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऐसा है कि ये लोग नॉट ओनली वर्क, राइट? वो लोग कभी कभी क्या होता है कि अपने बहुत ही छोटे बच्चे को छोड़ के आ जाते हैं, राइट? एंड समटाइम्स वेरी एज्ड पेरेंट्स को आके, तो उनके मन में देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स इन देयर माइंड, नॉट जस्ट वर्क, my family, my kid. So from the time they are here till the time they leave, it is my responsibility that we pack the schedule that there is both engagement and there is learning, right? So this comes out in different ways. For example, हमने वो जैसे आपने रील में बताया था, we had a thing where मैंने actually एक idea आया था after seeing this in a London Underground station. So where people do hopscotch and enter the class. वो idea ये था कि by the time वो hopscotch play करके अंदर जाएंगे, mind would have gotten a little lighter and settled for the class, right? And similarly, जब ये लोग last में जब finish करके जाते हैं, we have a drum circle. वो drum circle में क्या होता है कि just by playing the drums, you get to a different energy.
Wow.
Right? And then we have things like theater. हम actually जो first immersion जब आते हैं, तो हम एक theater professional को लेके आते हैं. And theater professional will help us do things, activities for them, so that वो लोग अपने आप में जुड़ जाए. They form a good bonds with each other. So the idea is like I said, the 6 days that they are here in campus, you should ensure that they have both engagement and learning, and slowly build community in them.
And I think this is one of the reason why students loves you, like they appreciate the way you have adapted to teach them. Sir, एक और इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल ये भी है कि अभी बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूट जो है वो ऑनलाइन मैनेजमेंट कोर्सेज ऑफर कर रहे हैं, एज यू नो, यू आर अवेयर. XLRI का जो ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग है ये दूसरों से कैसे बेहतर है? एट द वेरी सेम टाइम वी नो दिस कि XLRI की जो प्रोफेसर्स है, जो यहाँ पे टीचिंग स्टाफ है, दे आर द बेस्ट इन द कंट्री. तो वो किस तरह से जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स है उनको बेस्ट बेनिफिट दे पाते हैं?
Yeah. See, first thing is XLRI is a institution known for its quality. We are the first B school of independent India.
Correct.
So it is a responsibility for us कि whatever program we offer, we should offer with the same level of quality that we are offering for the full-time MBA programs. So ये तो base level है, right? This is set. So then the next question, therefore, like you rightly asked, and everybody is offering online MBA, इसमें क्या difference है, right? So, frankly speaking, the content, right, the courses that somebody will go through in our program, and say same courses somebody will offer going through another similar B school, उसमें काफी overlap रहेगा, right? The courses will not be significantly different. But what is very different, and what I feel is different, is how we are ensuring that we are creating community in the group, how we are ensuring that these people stay connected and learn from each other,
right,
and how we are designing the interventions such that we know that they will be able to get to the next level. Right? Simple example is, like, for example, the first immersion that they come, like I said earlier, we use theater as an intervention to make people connect with each other. Right? In the second immersion that they come, we do Stanford live design workshop. I myself am a Stanford live design educator.
Wow.
So we do a Stanford live design workshop which helps them understand and think about how their career should go, how their life should be designed in the next 5-6 years. So, and then in the third immersion, we have workshops which helps them understand how managers should engage as a coach for their people. We then start giving them mentorships. By arranging with very senior leaders in industry. Our own alumni are very senior leaders in industry. So we arrange for mentorship for them. We help them to design the resume in a way that it becomes useful for the job that they want to attend to. Right? So a lot of those things we try to do during those immersions that happen in the program. And in the second immersion, we start making the students create their own interventions, right? So a lot of these things are ensuring that we are helping them go, because what got them here will not get them there, right? यहाँ तक का it was basically I was good at programming, I'm good at operations, right? तो वो इधर तक पहुँचे. उसके बाद इधर तक पहुँचना है, that means there are a different set of skills that we need. That difference is what we try to bring in this 2 years of time that they spend here. And what is the tool that we have? The tool is the faculty. Right? The faculty are world class, like all of us know, and it is the same faculty who teach the full-time program who are also teaching the blended learning program. In fact, there are some faculty who have told us that they are finding their interactions with the blended learning students very interesting, because वो अपने experience लेके आते हैं.
Correct.
And उसको class में discuss करते हैं, so they are very engaged. So, and what is happening is उसकी वजह से कि whatever they are learning, they are applying right away. There are people who are saying मैंने ये पढ़ा था, इसी वजह से मैंने यहाँ पे implement किया, मेरा promotion हो गया, right? So that kind of interventions are happening, and this is because of the kind of faculty that we have and the kind of design and thought we have put into the program.
सर मुझे बहुत खुशी होगी ये सवाल का आंसर जानकर कि आर देयर इंस्पायरिंग एग्जांपल्स ऑफ प्रोफेशनल्स हु completed XLRI blended learning and who went on the making a significant impact in leadership roles or beyond.
Yeah. So actually, there are many. So while I don't have exact full numbers of how many people, but I can say at least in the last convocation speech we shared that I think 1 in 3 students in the program had a promotion by the time they finished the program, a promotion in their job. Right? But other than that, the more important thing is that there are 2 levels of impact. One I told you earlier is that as they are learning, they are implementing, and that feedback loop is giving them a lot of visibility in their organization.
Right.
The other thing is that they are able to leverage the brand and the learning and get to a very high level. As an example I can share with you, there's this last program, this girl who was in the HRM program. She joined the HRM program. She was a HR assistant in a shop floor in a plant in Gujarat. At the time she finished her program, and then an opportunity came up, and when I referred her to that opportunity, and she went through the process, and now she is a plant HR manager in a major pharma company. Right? This is like probably 3-4 levels above where she started. Right? Another person recently wrote to me saying that, sir, I spent about 20 years in one finance company in compliance, but now thanks to this program, now I've got an offer for a senior vice president role in another finance company. And there are people who have been able to, after break, get a job, right? And people who have been able to negotiate different roles in the same organization. So the program has been able to add value for students, and in a way that is very, very tangible. It can be promotion, it can be a switch to a different organization, or to a change in a different.
सर मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि every XLRI initiative carries the message of for the greater good. How does blended learning incorporate ethics, human values, and responsible leadership into its programs?
Actually, see, like you said, greater good is part of the DNA of XLRI, right? Now, in the blended learning program, this is not only just the mandatory course that we go through. Every blended learning program student goes through a mandatory course on ethics, but it is also part of the discussions that we have. Hey, this is where, like I said, I want to go back to this thing that the students in this program are fundamentally different from the students in the full-time program because they carry a lot of experience. So the class in marketing, a course in marketing, a course in advertising, a course in compensation benefits. In all of these courses, there are rich opportunities for us to have discussions on ethics because the students come with that experience. They will say, sir, we designed the CTC for this person, right? Now, and then the professor can come back and say, how would this look through, if you look at it through the lens of ethics, right? How are you comparing this? Or if somebody is going to say, this is the advertising campaign that I ran, right? Then that again, there's an opportunity for us to bring in the lens of ethics. So the opportunity is enormous for us to blend in this ethics discussion across courses in the blended learning program, because all of these students have brought in rich examples and case studies of what they are doing, and that itself gives them opportunity to talk about it and strengthen their own ethical orientation. And that's how I think we are ensuring that the greater good is taken care of.
Now, sir, a very important question. जिस वजह से भी ये पूरा पॉडकास्ट चल रहा है, काफ़ी सारे लोग बड़े ध्यान से चीज़ों को सुन रहे होंगे, जान रहे होंगे. जो भी सुन रहे हैं और जो ज्वाइन करना चाहते हैं XLRI जैसे संस्थान को, उनको अप्लाई करने से पहले क्या जान लेना चाहिए, जो उनको जानकारी होनी चाहिए. और दूसरा मेरा इस पे सवाल है कि कोई ऐसी स्पेसिफिक क्वालिटीज़ और माइंडसेट है जो XLRI देखता है उन पार्टिसिपेंट्स में बियॉन्ड एकेडमिक परफॉर्मेंस.
So first thing is, ये तो है courses for people who are having work experience. So they're coming in already with 3-5 years of work experience. So the important thing that we were looking for is, why are they looking for this education right now? उनके दिमाग में क्या है कि how do they want to develop their career, right? And more importantly, we will want to know if this person will have the commitment and discipline to go through the program. Because इसमें क्या है, for about 100 weeks, your Sunday is gone, your Saturday is gone. मतलब Saturday evening, Sunday evening are gone for about 100 weeks, which means that that is going to be a sacrifice that you are making with respect to your family, your hobbies, etc. And going and sitting in front of a computer and taking a class, right? So we want to know that we want to be really sure that that person will have that discipline and commitment in being able to go through this program. That is another thing that we look for. And the other thing that we want to see is how much of a clarity do they have on what their where do they want to reach after this program, right? And beyond that, I would say the admissions interview is more like a conversation. There's nothing that we can really prepare for. The only thing we can prepare for is how well we can share what we already done. हमारा resume जो भी है, we should be able to talk about it confidently, and we should be able to have a good conversation.
Sir, I must say कि this was most productive program we had, and जो बातें आपसे जानने को मिली and जिस तरह से बहुत कामनेस के साथ अपने सारी बातों को बताया, जो भी एस्पिरेंट है उनके लिए बहुत ही फायदेमंद ये पॉडकास्ट होने वाला है. But let's end this on a very lighter note. Would like to know if you had to describe the XLRI blended learning experience in 3 words, what would be they?
It would be rigorous, rooted, and transformative. Rigorous because this is a program that requires a lot of effort and goes through a lot of rigorous evaluation through the whole 2 years. Rooted because it is rooted in our legacy of the greater good and what we want to deliver. And transformative, that's most important, because at the end of the day, they are spending their time here. So this program is committing to be transformative for them in terms of where they want to see their career. That's what I would say.
So it was a very productive episode, जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया, और उम्मीद है कि ऐसे और भी वीडियो पॉडकास्ट आपको XLRI कैंपस से देखने को मिलेंगे. So this is me Manoj signing off. Thank you so much sir for this opportunity. अब मिलते हैं अगले पॉडकास्ट में जल्दी.